Hey everyone, welcome back to Intruder Security. Linux directories is something every Linux user should know, and is also one of the most common interview questions. Unlike Windows having local disks, the directory structure of Linux involves multiple folders in the root directory. But the major question for beginners is, what is root directory? So if you're new to Linux or just want to solidify your understanding, you're in the right place. By the end of this video, you'll navigate your Linux system like a pro. Without wasting much time, let's get started. At first, let's understand what is root directory. If you are familiar with Windows, all the local disks are nothing but partition of your hard disks and are visible in my computer. Similarly, in Linux, all the files and folders are visible in the root directory. The root directory, denoted by a single /, is the starting point or the top of the tree. Everything in Linux begins here. Remember to navigate through directories, you use cd, also stated as change directory command. To navigate to root directory, you can use cd and /. Let's list the contents of the root directory using ls command. As you can see, we've got several subdirectories here. Each one serves a specific purpose. We'll go through the most important ones you need to know. The first branch of root directory is bin folder. This is where essential binary files, or executable programs, are stored. These are crucial for the system to boot and run basic commands like ls and cp. Bin stands for binaries. Every time you use a command in the terminal, you're essentially calling an executable from this or similar directories. So most common commands binary files can be seen here. Next up is /etc. This is your system configuration hub. All the configuration files and directories that control the system's operation live here. For example, your network settings, user accounts, and more. Ever wondered why it's called /etc? It stands for etc., indicating that it holds various system-wide configuration files. Some of the most common files present in etc. folder is passwd, fstab, hosts, and more. Let me show you a trick that definitely will help you if you are tired remembering IP addresses. Go ahead and open up hosts file using root villages. Here you can add the IP addresses you want to assign a name. For example, if your mobile device is on this random IP address, and if I add some name in front of this IP address, then you can access the IP address with this name directly from the URL of browser, acting like a domain name. O can see the default one is the local host assigned to local IP address. Moving on to /home. This is where all user-specific data is stored. Each user has a directory here, like /home/ your username. It's your personal space where you can store files, documents, downloads, and more. Wherever you open your terminal, you are in your dedicated /home/ user directory. Inside /home, you'll find subdirectories for each user. You'll typically find downloads, documents, movies, etc., which is also common in Windows. Then, next in the directory tree is /var. This stands for variable files. These include files that are expected to grow in size, like logs, spool files, and temporary files. You can see this dedicated folders of logs, cache, etc. once you list them. It's an essential directory for system admins. A pro tip for you: if you ever need to troubleshoot your system, check out /var/log. It's where all the log files are stored, which can give you insights into what's happening under the hood. Next is /usr, which stands for Unix System Resources. This is where the majority of user utilities and applications reside. It's like a secondary hierarchy for user programs and data. Subdirectories in this directory are bin folder containing user commands, sbin having system administration commands for the superuser, and lib with libraries for the binaries. Each of these has a specific role in storing user applications and resources. Now, let's talk about /mnt, also referred as mount, and /media. These directories are used for mounting file systems, like USB drives and other external storage. Mounting is the process of making a file system accessible at a certain point in the directory tree. /mnt is traditionally used for temporarily mounting file systems, whereas /media is automatically used by the system to mount removable media like USB drives, CDs, and DVDs. Try plugging in a USB drive and mounting it shows up under /media. Easy access to your external data. Moving forward is /tmp. This is the temporary directory where files are stored temporarily. Programs use this to store data that doesn't need to persist after a reboot. It's a useful place for temporary files, but remember that files here can be deleted at any time. Now let's explore /op. This is where optional software packages are installed. If you download and install third-party software, it often ends up here. For example, if you install a new application that's not part of your default package manager, it might go into /op. Before we wrap up, let's quickly touch on a few other directories that might be useful. /proc is a virtual file system that provides information about system processes and hardware. It's like peeking under the hood of your car while it's running. /dev contains device files. Every hardware device, such as your hard drive or mouse, has a corresponding file here. These are used to interact with hardware devices. /boot contains the files needed to boot the system, including the Linux kernel, initial RAM disk, and bootloader configuration files. Without this directory, your system wouldn't start. /sy is similar to /proc. It provides information about and interfaces with the kernel, devices, and other system components. Each directory has its unique purpose, making Linux both powerful and organized. Understanding this structure is crucial for effectively managing and navigating your system. So this was it. Let's wrap up. I hope you gained at least a bite of knowledge in Linux directory structure. Comment below with your favorite Linux directory and why. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated with more awesome content. Until next time, happy hacking.